Are you okay?
Yeah, I have to turn it off and turn it on every 10 minutes.
All right, okay.
It's good.
Some people, to some people that's a non-question.
Is there any
It's
evidence for scripture?
self-evident. It's a question of faith.
Yeah.
To other people, it's a really important question
Mm.
because you need to know whether you're barking up the tree of a cult
Yeah. Yeah.
or not. And maybe a damaging cult, for people who are persecuted by faith perspectives,
Yeah.
not just on gender issues,
Yeah.
but or not just on sexual issues, but on wider gender issues,
Yeah.
on issues of ethnicity,
Yeah.
master races, and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Or one religion bashing another religion.
Mm.
It's a hugely important question. What is the stuff we are actually talking about?
Yeah.
And then do the religions which surround and ought to support spiritual growth, like a trellis
Yeah.
in a garden supports a vine that grows towards the sun
Mm.
to make sweet grapes and produce strong wine
Yeah.
and give us a good,
Exactly.
well, this is a dram, but good brandy or whatever.
Yeah.
Are our religions healthy? Do they
Yeah.
give life? Or do they rob people of life and justify oppression?
Exactly.
These are the questions.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people are, within the context of Stonewall, are trying to understand, and what I'm trying to explore within the book is what is queer spirit, or what is, you could say, on one hand, it's the spirit of LGBT people who faced oppression and who are building community and resisting the deeper magic. But you could also say, what is the spirit of any oppressed community who are trying to, it doesn't have to, there's special queer spirit, but then there's spirit of any oppressed community. And how do you really explore that to generate strength and love?
Well, let me say, first of all, on the record, as you well know, Dan, you've known me 10, 15 years, I don't know what it is now,
15 years, yeah.
But something like that. As you know, I'm hyper straight.
Yeah.
I've not got a gay bone that I'm aware of in my body, although Sigmund Freud, whose books are behind me, say that everybody is potentially both ways and so on. So, I don't identify as part of the queer community.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to mislead
people I know
who you're writing from. But I do identify with people who are oppressed in the sense that they are made less than equal.
Yeah.
And I think that when that happens, when people experience oppression for whatever reason, it strips away masks that otherwise conceal the nature of reality. And such people, much of my work is with poverty and liberation theology, which is about the oppression of the poor.
Yeah.
In the broadly economic sense, although also the poor of spirit.
Yeah.
The Gospels speak of both. They speak of both economic poverty and poverty of spirit. Much of my work is with that, and when people experience that, like in the Gal Gale, was the organisation where my friend who did that book cover is from. When they experience poverty, it strips away a lot of illusions as to who your friends are and who your false friends are. And it can bring you into a deeper solidarity with what is real. Now, I'm very interested, because I'm a Quaker, and Quakers were the first church, you could say, or religious movement, as we would maybe prefer to say, in the UK, that unanimously at a yearly meeting, at Britain yearly meeting, it must have been about 10 years ago or so, unanimously accepted gay marriage. I forget if marriage was actually the word that was used, but
partnership,
whatever it was, but they unanimously accepted. Can you imagine? It so happens I've got in front of me here a key text about the Quaker movement, Beyond Majority Rule.
By Michael who?
Michael Sheeran, Sheeran, subtitled Voteless Decisions in the Religious Society of Friends, which is to say the Quakers. And Sheeran was basically a Jesuit who He's still alive. He's dean or emeritus dean of some big Jesuit seminary in America. And when he did his PhD as a young man, it was just after Vatican II, that reforming movement of the early 1960s in the Catholic Church. And one of the things that Vatican II, this Second Vatican Council, said to the religious orders is you've got to get back to your roots.
Yeah.
So the Jesuits looked at their founder, Ignatius Loyola,
Yeah.
and realised that he was always banging on about something called discernment.
Yeah.
And discernment, as you know, means die, to go through, from the Greek, and sinner, to sift and go through, like you're panning for gold in amongst all the gravel. And he realised they'd lost their connection with discernment, so he looked around who maybe had it. He found the Quakers were heavily into it. So off he went and did his PhD on the Quakers, and then reported back to the Jesuits.
Yeah.
We now have a Jesuit Pope in Francis who is forever writing about discernment.
Yeah, exactly.
It's beautiful, beautiful,
Yeah, exactly.
beautiful stuff. So where am I going with this? Where was I going with that, Dan? Before I went off on discernment, it's your fault.
Spirit.
You insisted we started off in this way.
Spirit. Just about like, what does it mean to be spiritually active?
To be spiritually active. That's right. Yeah. So basically, you had this incredible thing where I wasn't present, but I was told about it. And it's all documented in the minutes. That 600 people, some of whom were intrinsically very homophobic, you would say. I'm not sure if homophobic is a word that quite captures what people feel, but that's the word that's used. And they made a unanimous decision, which is the way Quakerism works, around this minute that accepted gay marriage. Some people got up and said, I don't feel comfortable with it, but I will not stand in the way of it, which is a very interesting one. Now, as a consequence of that, we've had a large number of LGBT people come into the Quakers. Sometimes it feels like being at a meeting of pride at prayer. But what interests me in that, talking to these folk of all colours in the LGBTQ plus spectrum, what interests me is at the very sort of identity considerations that being of a different sexual orientation than me gives rise to. I think prompts searching along other aspects of identity as well. And so a lot of these people will come along to us deeply burned by conventional religion. They'll be hypersensitive to the use of God, Christ especially, and all the rest of it. Some of them really can get quite angry about that kind of language, which frankly is a problem, because we're a Quaker meeting for worship in that context. But they've come to us because we accept them. We don't have clergy. We don't have doctrines and dogmas. So we just invite sitting in the silence and being moved by the Spirit, and now and again somebody might get up and speak. And many of these folk are wrestling with what is fundamentally the spiritual question of identity. In the words of the Pink Floyd song From the Wall, by the cold and religious we were taken by hand. By the cold and religious we were taken in hand, shown how to feel good and made to feel bad. You see, they've experienced that. So their experience of organised religion has been an oppressive one. But spiritually they're hungry. They're seekers. So they come along to us. And so, we get a lot of such seekers in the Quakers. I better not say what I was about to say, but I was going to name a senior Quaker who is gay, and I didn't name him, but I don't know how out he is. I mean, he's quiet about it in the meeting, but not secretive about it. But, we have a number. One of our principal Quaker theologians, Ben Pink Dandelion, is openly gay and writes about gay
What a
theology.
name.
So,
Yeah, yeah. Ben Pink Dandelion.
you know, Ben Pink Dandelion.
Yeah.
I believe I'm right in saying that. The thing is, Daniel, there was a time when folk like that would talk regularly and write regularly about it. Now it's so commonplace, I don't mention it anymore.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
you know,
exactly.
as I name it, I find myself thinking, hang on, better check that, better fact check that in case
Yeah.
I'm wrong. But you'll easily find it out if you Google him. He's well known. And I'm pretty sure that that's the case. So basically, you know, the experience of being marginalised for whatever reason tends to bring people into spiritual territory and to form bonds of solidarity that are of a spiritual nature.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you, Alistair. Then, next question is around. Let me just go to the toilet, but I'm going to say this the question about space, the importance of space, because you mentioned Gal Gale. The importance of space when it comes to liberation theology and spiritual activism. If we look at the example of the Stonewall Inn, where the riot started, and if we look at the context of how important space today is for any community who are oppressed, poor, black, queer, etc., space is important in that context from the Stonewall Inn.
Absolutely.
Right, let's go to toilet with you. I had a bit of
Is your thing still running?
okay.
Is it okay?
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.